At my sister's wedding, I was seated in the hallway. Not at a side table, not at the back row. Literally in the hallway, away from everyone, near the bathroom door. My name card was next to a cleaning cart and a flickering light bulb. I remember staring at the empty chair beside me, listening to the laughter coming from the grand ballroom, and thinking, is this really how my own family sees me? I felt humiliated, invisible, and angry. So I did something I didn't plan on doing. I left. But what happened after that shocked everyone, and honestly, it changed how I see my family forever. Tell me, would you have walked out too, or stayed and swallowed your pride? It all started a few months before my sister's wedding, when she and her fiancé, Daniel, announced their engagement. Everyone was thrilled. My mom was over the moon. My dad immediately started talking about venue options, and I was happy for her, but I couldn't ignore that small ache inside me. My sister, Emma, had always been the golden child. Everything about her life seemed perfect, straight. A student, popular, beautiful, and now engaged to a wealthy, charming guy. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one, the one who worked a regular job and didn't get much attention. I'd always felt like the extra in family photos, necessary to fill space, but never the focus. Still, I wanted to be supportive. I helped Emma with her wedding planning, picking flowers, tasting cakes, running errands, all the little things that a maid of honor would usually do. But here's the thing, I wasn't even asked to be the maid of honor. Emma chose her best friend, Chloe. When I found out, I tried to hide how much it hurt. She said, "Oh, don't take it personally. It's just that Chloe's been my best friend since college." I smiled and said it was fine, but inside I felt that familiar sting. Still, I kept helping because she was my sister, and I wanted her day to be perfect. As the wedding day drew closer, things started feeling off. Whenever I'd show up to help, Emma and Mom would whisper and stop talking as soon as I entered the room. They said it was just wedding stress, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was going on behind my back. Then, one day, while helping my mom organize seating charts, I noticed my name wasn't on the list. I thought it was an oversight and asked, "Hey, Mom, where am I sitting?" She looked at me like I'd asked her something strange and said, "Oh, honey, we haven't decided yet. Don't worry, there'll be space somewhere. Somewhere." That word stuck with me, somewhere, like a last-minute addition or an afterthought. The morning of the wedding arrived. I put on my pale blue dress, the one Emma had approved weeks ago, and tried to convince myself that everything would be fine. I arrived at the venue early, gift in hand, heart full of hope. The place was stunning, chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, flowers everywhere, guests dressed elegantly. For a moment I felt proud of my sister, proud to be part of something so beautiful. When it was time for the ceremony, I found my seat near the back, which was fine. It was a full house, and I didn't mind not being up front. I smiled, clapped, and even teared up when Emma walked down the aisle. She looked radiant. When the ceremony ended and everyone moved to the reception hall, I followed the crowd, excited to celebrate. That's when everything changed. I walked in, looking for my name among the tables. Table after table, I saw names of family, friends, coworkers. Everyone had a place. Except me. I went to one of the staff members and quietly asked where I was supposed to sit. They checked a list and pointed down the hall, outside the main doors. "You're right over there," he said. Confused, I walked down and saw a small table with one chair, right next to the hallway leading to the restrooms. My name card was there, slightly bent, with my name spelled wrong. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. Maybe someone forgot to move it inside. I went back to Mom, who was busy chatting with some relatives, and asked, "Mom, I think there's been a mix-up. My seat is outside." She frowned and said, "No, it's correct. The hall is full, and we didn't have room for everyone inside. You'll still be nearby." Nearby. That word hit harder than I expected. I could literally hear the music and laughter from the main hall while standing in the cold, dimly lit hallway. I looked around. Everyone else was inside, including distant cousins I hadn't seen in years. Even the photographer's assistant had a better seat than me. I felt this tightness in my chest. My heart pounded as I realized what this really meant. I wasn't wanted there. Not really, I was just a name they couldn't leave off the guest list. I tried to hold it together. But when the waiter came by and asked if I wanted my meal served out here or should he bring it to the lounge area, I lost it. I mumbled something about not being hungry and walked out. No one stopped me, no one noticed. I drove home in silence, still wearing my dress, my makeup starting to smudge from tears. I remember sitting on my couch, staring at the wedding invitation on the coffee table, the one that said, "Family means forever." The irony made me laugh bitterly. I turned off my phone and decided I was done. Done trying to fit into a family that clearly didn't see me as part of it. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of missed calls and messages from Mom, from Dad, from Emma, even from relatives I barely knew. I didn't answer any of them. Then I saw one from Chloe, my sister's maid of honor. She said, "I don't blame you for leaving, but you should probably check Facebook." My heart sank. I opened my account and saw that Emma had posted a group photo from the wedding, everyone smiling, glasses raised, the caption reading, "The best day of my life, surrounded by all the people I love." Except me, I wasn't in a single picture. It was like I never existed. For a moment, I thought maybe she just hadn't noticed. But then I scrolled further and saw the comments. One of her friends wrote, "Wasn't your sister supposed to be there?" And Emma replied she left early, guess she couldn't handle being happy for me. That broke me. I was shaking with anger and humiliation. But before I could say anything, another notification popped up. A message from my aunt. She said, "Sweetheart, I just want you to know I saw what they did to you yesterday. It wasn't right. You deserve better." She told me that after I left, people started asking where I was. At first, Mom brushed it off, saying I wasn't feeling well. But then, one of my cousins, who had seen me sitting in the hallway, told everyone the truth. Apparently, that caused a huge scene. Some relatives confronted my parents and Emma, asking why their own family member had been seated outside. Emma tried to downplay it, saying, "We didn't have enough seats inside. It wasn't a big deal." But my uncle reportedly said, "You had strangers sitting inside. You mean to tell me your sister wasn't more important than that?" That's when things escalated. People started murmuring, and the tension got so bad that even Daniel's parents got involved. His mother, a very classy woman, supposedly pulled Emma aside and told her, "How you treat your family reflects who you are." My aunt said Emma went pale after that and ran off crying. Meanwhile, my mom tried to calm everyone down, but the damage was done. The wedding reception that was supposed to be perfect turned into a mess of awkward silences and whispered gossip. When I read all that, I didn't feel satisfied. I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt tired. I didn't want revenge, I just wanted respect. But clearly that was too much to ask, so that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below. What would you have done in my place? Would you have stayed and pretended everything was fine? Or would you have walked out like I did? Be honest. Anyway, after ignoring everyone's messages for a few days, I finally got a call from Dad. He sounded frustrated. "Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" he asked. "You embarrassed your sister on her wedding day." I laughed in disbelief. "I embarrassed her. I was sitting next to a mop bucket, Dad." He sighed and said, "You know how your mother is with seating arrangements. You should have just let it go. That was it for me." I told him that if this is how my family defines love and respect, then maybe I'm better off without it. A few weeks passed before Emma reached out. She texted me saying she wanted to talk. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop, and she looked nervous, almost guilty. "I'm sorry," she started. "I didn't realize how bad it was. Mom handled most of the seating, and I just approved it without checking." I stared at her, trying to figure out if she was being sincere. Then she said something that stuck with me. "But you didn't have to make a scene by leaving." I put my cup down and said, "Emma, I didn't make a scene. I left quietly. You made the scene by treating me like an afterthought." She teared up and said she'd been getting a lot of backlash from relatives and even from Daniel's family. Apparently, Daniel was furious when he found out where I'd been seated. He told her, "If that's how you treat your sister, what does that say about how you'll treat me someday?" That argument nearly caused a rift between them. In the following weeks, things got even more complicated. My parents tried to host a family dinner to make peace, but I didn't go. I told them I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to sit at another table just to be ignored again. Instead, I started focusing on myself. I moved to a new apartment closer to my work, made some new friends, and for the first time, I stopped trying to earn my family's approval. Months later, Emma reached out again. This time, she sounded different, humble, maybe even regretful. She said she and Daniel had gone through counseling because their communication had started breaking down after the wedding. During one session, she admitted that she had a habit of prioritizing appearances over emotions, especially with family. She told me that moment, my leaving forced her to confront how shallow her behavior had become. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to forgive her immediately, but another part of me needed time. Eventually, we did reconcile, but it wasn't instant. It took months of small, honest conversations. She invited me to dinner one night, and this time, she made sure my seat was right next to hers. It was symbolic, but it meant a lot. Now, when I think back to that wedding day, I realize it wasn't just about where I was seated. It was about how people make you feel seen or unseen, valued or disposable, and sometimes walking away isn't rude, it's an act of self-respect. So if you've ever been treated like an afterthought, remember this. You don't owe anyone your silence just to keep the peace. Family or not, you deserve a seat at the table, and if they can't offer that, it's okay to walk away and build your own. Like this video if you were on my side. Subscribe for more real stories like this, and share your thoughts in the comments. Would you have stayed or left like I did? I'll see you all in the next story.